So today we'll see about, we call this a procure to pay. It's called as a procure to pay. We call this that a material management. Generally, in the simple word, we can say procure to pay. Okay, P2P. It's called as a P2P, procure to pay. So there is a some steps are in that procure to pay. So first is determine determine the requirement. Okay, next is request for quotation. For quotation. Okay. Then vendor selection. Then source list. Then purchase order. Then receipt. Last one, price receipt. So these are the 7 steps. Okay, 7 steps are we called as a procure to pay. Okay, we are. So what is the determine the requirement? Okay, so that is called as a purchase requisitions. Okay, purchase requisition. So whenever we are creating the purchase requisition, it is the internal document. So it will be creating the requirement. So first for the procure to pay, the first step is for determine the requirement. We want to know what is the requirement. Example, what is the material, how much quantity is required, okay, what specification of the material. Okay, so these are basic information is required for that purchase demand. Okay, what determine the requirement. Okay, so that is called as a determine the requirement through purchase requisition. This is an internal document. This already discussed. This is an internal document. Okay. So next is for request for quotation. So what is the request for quotation? So if you don't have, if you have, you know the requirement. Okay, but if the requirement need to fulfill, we need to have a vendor. Okay, if we don't have a vendor, how we can get the material? Okay, for example, I, my requirement is I need gloves. Okay, I need some gloves. Okay, 100 quantity. Okay, you have the requirement. This is my requirement. I need a gloves, 100 quantity. Okay, but you don't know vendor, you don't know anything. So how we can get the material? How we can procure the gloves? So for that, first we identify the vendors. Okay, so which are the suppliers? Which are the manufacturer producing the gloves? Okay, selling the gloves. So we first identify that vendors. That purchase team in the every organization having one purchase department. So purchase department role is, so first they will identify based on the requirement, they will identify the vendors. Okay, we are the vendors supplying the requirements. Okay, that vendors we are sending the quotations. So this is my material, this is specification, this much quantity is required. So we can send it to vendors. So that is called as a request for quotation. Okay, we send the requirement to vendor through quotation. Okay. So this is called as a request for quotation. We are sending that because of maybe purchase department will be identified. The gloves will be supplied by many suppliers. Maybe 4 or 5 suppliers. Maybe purchase team will be identified vendors. But we need to select the vendors. Okay, which vendor we going to procure based on that supplier quality, supplier delivery time, supplier some norms and condition will be follow the companies, right? So vendors, these vendors capable to supply to this company customers. So for that we are send the requirement to vendor through the quotation. Okay, then vendor return back to customers. So their specifications they mention their terms and conditions. So these are the price for this when this is a gloves per gloves this is the price. Okay, so with this delivery norms and condition, what are the charges for delivery charges, where they having. So some um, details, vendor details, they will send through to again back to customers with whatever is against the quotations. Okay, so we need to maintain the quotations in the system. Okay, after that, after request for quotation, then vendor will send that revert back to customers. So their terms and conditions, okay, price of the material, okay, delivery conditions, till terms and conditions, they will send it to customers. So customer will be maintain the quotation in the system. So after system will maintain the quotation, so system will proposing the vendor selection. For example, we have five vendors. Okay, we identified five vendors. Example. We identify five different vendors for close supply. Five different vendors to identified.
Sir, this are all the end user will do, right?
Huh? Sorry.
These things and all end user only will do, right?
These are the end user process, purchase department process.
End user process, not a
These are
consultant, right?
not a consultant process, but we should know to explain whenever you are going to real time. Na?
Okay, okay, okay.
We need to explain to them all the SAP scenarios, how we can procure to pay will work. What are
Okay,
the things that are available in the procure to pay.
okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
So for that we know end user level we know very well.
Okay.
Okay. Identify, maybe we are identified five different example. We are identified five different vendors. Okay. For glove supply. So we send the quotation. Okay. We send quotation to five vendors. Okay. Five vendors. Okay. So after that, what happens? Vendors revert to customers with their terms and conditions, price and all. So that vendors quotations. Based on the quotation, we are maintain the quotation in the system. So then we need to system will propose the vendor. System will propose the vendors based on less price. Okay. If we maybe the five vendors, they will given the different prices. Example, one example per piece price. I'm saying. First vendor they given 10 rupees per gloves. Second vendor given 12 rupees per gloves. So maybe third vendor given 20 rupees per gloves. So we can these quotations we need to maintain in the system. Then based on that prices, system will propose which vendor with the first list price. Okay, for example, 10 rupees who is given, that is a least price. So SAP will suggest that this is a least price in SAP. This vendor given as a least price. Okay, system will propose the vendor based on the least price. Okay, so but not necessary to we can go for the SAP proposed vendor. Okay, we can choose any vendor in the between the five vendors, but system will propose always the least price vendors. Okay, so but we can purchase from some other vendor also. That not mandatory to which is system proposing the same vendor we need to procure. We can procure from some other vendor also. Okay, depends on that management approvals. Okay, after that, so vendor finalize. Okay, then we go for the source list. Source list, fix the vendor. Okay, fix the vendor based on that material. Based on the material, okay, we need to fix the vendor. This material will be supplied by these vendors. Okay, so particular period. So, okay, we can fix the vendor based on the material for some particular period. Okay, for example, one vendor you are choosing for gloves supply. So we can choose, we can maintain the source list for the maybe 1 year. Next 1 year, this will supplier will be supply the gloves. Okay, maybe 6 months or based on that management approval, we can client requirement. They will decide that how many years based on the agreement. Customer and vendor having the agreement. So they will decide how many years this supplier will supply gloves. So that will be maintained in the source list. Okay. Whenever we are maintaining the source list, the purpose of source list, we are creating the purchase requisition. So automatically that vendor will be mapped in that purchase requisition itself. So for that purpose, we are using this, so maintaining the source list in that system. Okay, then purchase order. You already know this case. Create the purchase order. Sorry, send the purchase order.
Sir, one doubt,
Tell me.
sir, if we didn't maintain the source list means how the process will be like.
We need to select that vendor at the time of PO creations. We need to manually select.
Okay, first of all, we have to raise the request for quotation, right?
Request for quotation based against it per PR.
Okay, okay.
We can create the first. We can create the PR, right?
Yes, yes. First we
So,
can create the purchase requisition. Okay, okay,
based on the purchase requisition, we are creating the quotation.
okay,
Okay, then quotation send it to vendor. So
okay,
vendor send that revert back to customers based on the prices. That price will be maintained on the system.
okay,
Okay, so the after that system will select the vendors, which vendor is the least price.
okay, okay,
Okay, so we can decide the vendor out of 5 vendors. We can decide which vendor will go for procure the
okay,
gloves. So that vendor we need to maintain the source list.
okay, okay. So
Okay,
after
so the
maintaining the source list, we don't want to select the vendor, right?
we need to again after selecting the source list. If we
Okay.
again you are going to the purchase requisition, you are go to edit mode. Whatever PR you created, na. If you
Ah,
go for edit mode, the source of supply automatically will come.
okay, okay,
Okay, if you go for then based on the PR, you are converting to PO.
okay,
Okay, the vendor automatically taken to PO
okay,
from the PR. Okay,
okay,
raise and send the PO to vendor. Vendor for material supply. For material supply. Okay, the purchase order is a external document, so it will be already told this separate topic. It's a external document. Okay, so we can raise this. We can send the PO to vendor for material supply. Okay, so once the material will supply from vendor as per the delivery date, okay, we can do the goods received. After goods material received, warehouse or stores will make goods received. So okay, once material is received to warehouse or received to warehouse or stores, okay, so they will make goods receipt. Okay. So this is a goods receipt process. Invoice receipt. This is the after goods receipt. Vendor payment. Vendor payment against the invoice. Against the invoice. Okay, generally, this part invoice receipt generally will taken care by finance team. Okay, based on that client requirement, maximum 90% that the invoice receipt will be taken care by finance team. Okay. So these are the steps for to procure to pay cycles. Okay. So we can do little bit one by one how we can go forward. Okay. So now go to the system. So already we have details, right? So first I create one PR. Okay. So PR is a internal document. So ME 51N, I create a PR. So I can. So what is the main mandatory field for PR? Material number, quantity, plant. Plant. So this information is enough for purchase requisitions. Okay. So today is showing 26 on holiday. So it's showing 26. Okay. So it will be saying on Monday, Tuesday. So I check. There is no issues. Okay. We'll save. So now ITPR is generated. Yeah, now I created requirement. So first step is created that determine the requirement. Okay. I note down here. Okay. So next step is so based on the PR, we don't know vendor. Okay, there is no vendor for procure that material. So first we send identify the vendors, then we send the quotation to vendor. Okay, for that. Okay, we go for ME 41 transaction. It is called for request for quotation. Okay, request for RFQ, request for quotation initial screen. Okay, then you can go for deadline for this. Okay, so deadline are given some from 20 June 31st. Okay, request for quotation. I will given purchase organization. What is our purchase org? I will given purchase org, purchasing group. We have purchase group. You can enter your purchase group. Okay. So here there is a request for quotation type. So always you can use AN RFQ. Okay. So just enter. Push start. I am forgot to. So I enter the deadline. So enter the purchase org, purchasing group. There is one option for reference to purchase requisition. We are creating the quotation against our purchase requisitions. Okay, so I click a purchase requisition. The last purchase requisition which is created, it automatically come. So our purchase requisition 8114, it automatically come, which is last we created. I can continue to purchase. If not, maybe your purchase requisition different. You can give your purchase requisition here. What you have created. Okay, I'll click here. It will now collection number. It will be a collection number. Why it's required collection number? So there is a one at the time of one of the report. We can see that how many vendors you are sending these quotations. That's why this is a tracking number. I will given some one or one, two, three, like serial number or whatever it's. You can give the any number. It will be using for the tracking. So based on the number, you can get the consolidated list. Okay, how many vendor you are sending this against the collection number? How many vendors you send the quotations? So that is a one tracking. This is a collection number. Is a tracking number. I can enter 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for this is only for tracking purpose we can use. Maybe you are sending same material. You are sending to 5 vendors or 6 vendors for quotations. So here one of the report is there. We can see we are entering the collection number. It automatically show the all the 5 vendors based on the collection numbers. This is the traceability of the numbers. If you want more about this, you click on F1. You can see this. What is the requirement of the collective number? Okay, you can find out this. Okay.
Sir, one doubt, sir. Like,
Ah,
this is collective number, right?
yeah.
So collective number means like how many vendors we
No,
want
no,
to
no.
send this.
Example, the say we know the material. We already create the requirement. Okay.
Okay.
So now we need to send it to vendor for the quotation.
Okay.
Okay. Say one material, one requirement. We are sending to multiple vendors.
Okay.
Okay, with multiple quotations.
Okay.
Okay, individual vendor, individual quotation you are sending. Five, maybe you are sending 5 vendors, 5 different quotations.
Okay.
Okay, you don't know vendor name or something. You forget the vendor name. how many, which are the vendors you are sending that quotations. Okay, for that you are giving some collection number.
Okay.
Okay, so you identified the vendors based on these collection numbers.
Okay.
Okay, it is a reference number. It will show where it will be useful. Okay.
Okay, if we going to send the quotation for this five vendor now, we want to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah?
No, not like that. This I am putting text here for references.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, for your in the live system, you can put whatever it is a business requirement, or you can give anything. Okay, at the purchase, this also not a consultant work. This also purchase department work.
Okay.
Okay, so purchase department team they give anything as per the as per their requirement.
Okay. Okay.
You can give text also. Example, 01. Okay, the first quotation like this. You can enter anything also here.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
as per this tracking purpose, we can use this. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
I will enter. So I will here I can you know that our purchase requisition, item, material, description, everything will come. What is the quantity? All are come. Okay. So I go to adopt details. I select the line item. Okay. I click on adopt plus details. It will show open that what is the quantity and all. So here the delivery date. Okay, delivery date more than the deadline date. Okay. So if I press enter also it show error. Please enter the delivery date later than the deadline date. Okay. So delivery date is it let's say I choose to next month 6. Okay. I'll choose here. Okay. So after enter, you go to here, select the line item. Okay, there is a button for address, vendor address. Okay, you can choose the vendor address. Okay, now we can select our vendors here. We can enter our vendor name. We have only one vendor, right? Okay. So it become all the vendor details. I will save. Now this vendor quotation was saved. Okay, our RFQ is created. So 144 our RFQ number. I maintain here for reference. This is for RFQ1. Okay, but we do I have only one vendor now. So first I will go to create one vendor, one more vendor. XK01. What is our group? Code is so your vendor, new vendor, I given new vendor one. This is for our second vendor. Okay, now this vendor I will go into the second. I send the second quotation to this vendor. Okay, my second vendor. So I will give the same quotation. Okay, I will same screen. I will change first vendor is quotation is saved. Okay, now I am trying to send the quotation for second vendor. Okay, I'll enter that vendor code. It's come. Okay, I will save this. Okay, so now second vendor is second quotation RFQ was created. Okay, now means the RFQ we need to send it to vendor. They fill that their conditions. They will send back to us. Okay, this is RFQ two. So now we created two RFQ. Okay, we send it to vendors. Okay, now they send that revert back to customers. Okay, what are the terms and conditions? What is the price for that? So all are things they send the quotations. Okay, now we can maintain they what are the return back? We maintain the quotations. Okay, so what is our first quotation is 144. RFQ is 144. I will select. Okay, there is a field bar here. Everything details will come. Our quotation number. Okay, vendor number, Okay, what is the material quantity? So here net price per piece. I will enter the net price per piece. Okay, I will enter 10 rupees. Okay, I will enter 10 rupees per piece. I will save. So I will quotation maintained for 144. I will select at 145. So I will enter price. I will enter here close for 5 rupees per piece. I will enter 5 rupees. I will save. Now quotation was maintained in the system. Price was maintained in the system. Okay, now go to that system, select the vendor selection. Based on the price comparison, system will select in the vendor. Which vendor is the least price? ME49 transaction. Okay. You can here you can see the collective RFQs are na. Okay, you don't know vendor, you don't know material. Just I given the 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, just execute. It will show the entire two vendors. Okay, for this purpose only we are using the collective number. Okay, collective RFQ number. Got it right?
Yes, yes.
I can enter here. It will come the consolidate how many vendors you send that quotation. You see material. Okay, this is a vendor. First, that is second quotation. We are maintaining 145 is a 5 rupees. Here we can maintain 5 rupees. Okay, na. So here we maintain 10 rupees. Okay, then system will proposing this vendor as a least vendor. 145 vendor is a least vendor is a first. The green color is a na. It is a one first one. This is
Okay.
two. Okay, system will proposing that based on that value. You see the 67 percentage that value based on that value they're calculating that how many percentage of this value also. Okay, so system will proposing, but not necessary to you are going to procure the same vendor. You can choose this vendor also in the source list. So it's not necessary to you are going procuring only for SAP proposed vendors. You can procure any vendor as per the business requirement, terms and policies as per the customer. Okay, so it is the main selection the vendors. Okay, now I come to source list. Okay, go to source list. We need to maintain that SE01 transaction to maintain the source. Sorry, ME01 transaction will for the so maintain source list. So I will enter the material. Our material already is there. I enter the plant. What is our plant? RSP1. You can see. So here valid from and valid to. Okay, we fix the vendor here. How many period that vendor will be supply the respective material. Okay, from valid to what is the vendor. Okay, so I can either mention from today. Okay, so valid to next 1 year. Next I will maintain next 1 year for the same vendor. What is our vendor? 145 is two vendor is there. We can select any vendor. Not system proposed for 145 vendor, but we can procure from any other vendor also. So I can maintain 145. What is our purchase order? We enter our purchase organization. Okay, so that's all. Here there is a two button, two option is there. One is for fixed supply source. So next for block the source. Okay, if example you are maintaining after this period, maybe to same this date next 2024 year, you can choose from another vendor. You are want to procure from some other another vendor from 27/8/2024. Okay, so you can maintain next line item also from the period. Okay, you can select next vendor also, but at the time you can fix only one vendor. We cannot fix two vendors. We can fix only one vendor. Okay, so if I want to block the vendor also, if this maybe this vendor was closed, vendor closed the company, we are going to procure the new vendors, so you can block the vendor. Here option is blocking the vendors. Okay, so now I can fix the vendor here. Okay, just put the quotation. will propose that code. It was here vendor code. If we can fix. Okay. So now you see the one error. Okay, for maintaining the source list, there is a info record for vendor not maintained. So if you are maintaining the source list, one more this is a info record, purchase info record we need to maintain. If you go for select maintaining the source list. Okay, here we go for vendor source list. If you want maintain the source list, okay, purchase info record mandatory. Okay, so now there is no purchase info record. You are saying. So what is the purchase info record? There is a one transaction for ME11. So this transaction code is using for the purchase info record. What is the purchase info record? This is a maintaining the information respect to the combination of vendor, respect to the material, purchase or planned. Okay, we can maintain the some supplier vendor related material details as. So it will be based on that example of small example. Whenever we are creating the purchase order, okay, that we are entering every time the purchase order in the manually. Sorry, price entering the manually. Okay, but once you are creating the purchase info record, we maintain that price in the purchase info record. Whenever we are creating the purchase order, the material price automatically come from the purchase info record. We don't need to want maintain every time the same price in the purchase order. Okay, so there is a different kind of category of info record. There is standard info record, subcontracting, pipeline, and consignment. These are the different procurements. We can see one by one. Okay, now we go forward the same 8W3 vendors. So our material, our purchaser, our plant. Well, press enter. It will show that remainder days. This is a first remainder, second remainder, third remainder. This is for after delivery date. It crossed to supplier will not supply the material, so they will send the remainder mail to remainder to vendors. So we need to maintain some days here. This everything will be based on the customer requirement. Okay, this will be this activity done do by the purchase department. Okay, purchase info record maintain will be the uh, purchase department person. Okay, you can see here. So there is a price. Okay, price is not here. You can see the plant delivery time. Okay, I can maintain plant delivery times 5 days. What is the plant delivery time? Okay, so number of calendar days need to for deliver the material. Okay, if you are maintaining the plant delivery time 5 days, system will calculating the delivery date from the today, while next 5 days is the delivery days. So that is a plant delivery day. Okay, so purchasing group automatically come. That is standard quantity. How many standard quantity we are procuring from that vendors? So I can enter 10. Standard. This everything will be based on that business requirement, the real time. Okay, what they need. So I can enter the price. Example, I enter per close is 10 rupees or 15 rupees. I'll enter here. Okay, even the quotation what you are maintained. So by what that not use, it will be taken from the purchase info record whenever you are creating the purchase order. I'll enter the price 15 per piece. Okay, enter, press enter. Oh, it saved that our purchase info record. Will note down the purchase info record here. This is PIR. Its short form is a PIR, purchase info record. Now I go to ME01 to maintain that source list. So now I enter the material. I'll enter the plant. I'll go to the valid from today to next 1 year or vendor or purchaser. I fixed this vendor for next 1 year. So I will fix this, save. Now source list was changed. Okay, I maintain the source list. Okay. Now I go to that ME22N, sorry, ME52N. This is the PR which is created now. So I am created one PR initially, right? Before for creating the quotation, before that creating the demand, determine the requirement. Okay, I'll create the requirement. That is a PR, purchase requisitions. So I go for edit the PR. Okay, I go to edit. Sorry, I go to edit the PR. Okay, so in that item details, you can see there is a item details. There is a one called tab for source of supply. Okay, so here there is a one button for assign source of supply. Okay, you can click here. So your automatically your fixed vendor will come. What we fixed it this ME03, right? What is our fixed vendor? It is the fixed vendor 8003. So it is automatically coming in the purchase requisition screen. So our info record also come. What is our info record? 7549. So this vendor, this material combination, we already maintained the info record. So it had purchase requisition, purchase organization automatically come. This all come automatically in the source of supply based on that source of supply setup. Okay, now I will save that purchase requisitions. Okay, purchase requisition was changed. Now what is the step now? So now I am going to create the purchase order against the purchase requisitions. I go to ME21, yeah. Okay, I go to overview one. Okay, I go to my purchase requisitions. So our my purchase requisition is 8114. My purchase requisition 8114. I select the purchase requisition. I will adopt. You can see here. So go to our data. So you can see automatically my vendor come. Okay. So automatically my material, everything will come. Okay. So purchase org can select. Okay. Change the purchase org. So it will be a setting actually in the live system. You can set your user device. What you need to for you can set as a default settings. Which purchase org, purchase group, purchase company code. You can set it your own as per the requirement. You can set it your own default settings. Whenever you're opening that screen, it automatically appear. Okay. So you can see everything will come. Okay. So now enter. You can see one difference. The 15 price will come automatically. I given 15 rupees in the purchase info record. So automatically 15 rupees will come in that purchase order creation screen. So I will enter our plant. Storage location is 1000. So now everything is ready. All the information will come just to enter that plant storage location. Okay. So that's all. Everything will come from that PR purchase requisitions. Okay. You can want to see. You can scroll to here. You can see the purchase requisition number. You can see here your purchase info record number. Everything will be appear. Respective line items. Okay. If you click double click this, it will go to purchase requisition display mode. If you want double click the info record, it will go to info record screen. Okay. Everything will come here. Okay. So I will save this PO. Our purchase order will be saved. This is my purchase order number. I note down this purchase order number. This is PO. So based on the PO, we are going to make goods received. Transaction code is MyGo. Goods received. And purchase order. I can receive 10 quantity. And movement type. This already I can show now. This is wherever we want setup. You can move the I want material in the purchase screen. I can move to here. Material. Okay, description, quantity. Okay. So and then what is the record? Plan record, storage location. Enter the storage location already, sir. Okay. you want a plant, you can take a plant. Plant is not required because the plant in the top side also is a plant. So it's not required for plant they are moving here. Okay, I can set it my layout as per the requirement. I will save code there. You can enter as per your own profile. You can set it here. Just to create it. Okay, just to save. Next time open the my Go screen, my layout will open. My as per the, this will be set as per the user ID. Okay, so where is there? The movement type, storage location, everything. The unregistered stock. These are ready to use stock. So purchase order number here. Okay, I change the click on item. Okay. If you want directly, you can edit here. You can minimize this. Close details data. You can edit here anything. Quantity you can edit. Storage location you can edit. Okay, you can edit everything. Okay, just to save. You can post a GR number. Okay. So now we go to see that transaction MB51. How many GR and done respect to the plant. I think yesterday we done something right. So you can see there is a list of plots. You can see there is a two GRNs happened. Yesterday one GRN happened 25. So today we made one GRN. So 10 pieces we done. Okay. So this is the way we can do that procure-to-pay cycle. MT30 and we can see the purchase order display. You can see the purchase order history data. Okay, so here is the GR number, what is the date, quantity. If I double click this, I click the material document, it will go the display screen of GR. Okay, vendor name, document info, item details. So all are things available here. You can see, okay, the things are available. Whenever you do the transaction, you open the FI document, you go that accounting document, you can see what are the information will be hitted. Okay, we can see that. Okay. So this is additional one thing you can see now here. I can see example. I can show you the viewer screen maybe. The purchase order I given the price is for actually 15 rupees, 15 INR, but it's showing 15 comma 00 now. But it should be actually 15 decimal 00. If you want to change this, that's the basic settings. You go to settings. Maybe your system maybe showing like this. You are entering the 15 rupees, but you are, instead of decimal, it's showing comma. You want to change that your user profile. Go to system, go to user profile, go to own data, go to default tab. Here there is a decimal notation is there. Now you can select here, drop down. You can choose the middle option with the dot 89. Okay, just to save. Okay, now log up your system. I can again log on the system. I'll open the purchase order. You can see now it changed to decimal. It will be INR means it will be up before zero. It will be decimal, not a comma. We go for INR. Okay. So if you want to change your setting, maybe you say see your settings. Maybe your settings is in the comma, the INR mode. You can change it to decimal. Okay. So this is the overall overview of Procure-to-pay. So MM purchase team we will be do that. This is a major process to MM side. So in that procurement, there's a lot of scenario is there. Okay, different type of procurements. Okay, consignment stock, subcontracting, pipeline stock. Okay, stock transport order, standard purchase order. Those different type of asset procurement. So lot of procurement is there. So that procurement will be one by one the later upcoming classes. So overall, as a MM, this is the overall the setup of procure to pay from MM side. So this is the process. We can see the different scenarios, different procurements, but this process is in between the same 7 steps only. So not a more than 7 steps. This is 7 step will be follow MM. So but different scenarios based on the real time customer requirements. Okay, so these are the scenarios we are doing following the MM side. we can see the next class. So special procurements.